When the geese are honking in the sky on their northward flights and the birds begin to nest, summer has come to Eskimo land. Eskimo summer is so very short. It comes with a crash of breaking ice. Daylight slowly takes the place of night. The winter igloos melt. The herds of caribou dot the snow-patched, moss-grown land. It is now heaven to the Eskimo. In the barren lands which begin where the trees end, live the Eskimos. Their territory, the largest habitat of any primitive people in the world, stretches from Siberia to Greenland. In this almost limitless space, they number less than 40,000 souls. In Baffin Land and Southampton Island, as in all polar regions, they are denied the resources of other peoples, yet they are the most resourceful and the happiest people on Earth. The Eskimo at all times has to fight for life. The government of Canada lends a hand, and one of its problems is to balance population. At Port Burwell, there were too many women. On Southampton Island, nearly 1,000 miles away, there were not enough women. The government brought a group of them with all their possessions to Southampton Island. They soon found husbands, but the government's interest will not stop here. It will continue to help them live happily. Now, they start for the summer fishing camp. The Eskimos literally live from one hunt to another. Sitting up on top of the world in a land where no other people could survive, they are blanketed in darkness for a large part of the year. One of the most ancient peoples in the world, the Eskimos are loosely organized. The tribe includes all those living in one place. A small community of families live and hunt together. The group wanders from one hunting ground to another. Their movements completely controlled by an environment which makes the struggle for food never-ending. The natural resources of the country are so limited that the men have to spend all their time and energy hunting and fishing. The women prepare the camp, raise the tents, care for the children, make the clothing, prepare the food. Once, the tents were skins of seals sewn together. Now, canvas from the trader very often. All ready now for the fishing. Rocks are tied into the nets for sinkers. The net is anchored on shore and stretched across the mouth of the river. Only the Eskimo woman knows how to prepare the moss wick of the whale oil lamp. Plenty of fish are not far away. They eat the fish raw.
ne kamango kwa kameo ta gle to tala keo te aume kanong me takta teo takta le teo ale kamana teo ale na anang le along yo watale al katera pinga jone ngowangal tateme takke ka nekta ka kayakta ka bimakpaka.
The one really necessary art for good eating in the Arctic is the ability to handle the ulu, or woman's knife. It is an art that children pick up almost while they're still carried on their mother's back. Upriver, where the shallows make a tidal fish trap possible, the men build a dam with rocks. They leave out one rock to make an opening through which the fish will enter. When the trap is filled, the fish are speared. Once the fish is on the spear, he cannot possibly get away. Some of the catch is dried for future days. The hunger of the Eskimos is at all times desperate. The dogs are hungry too. Hunting in boats or on sledges, in water or on ice, is the vital drive of Eskimo existence in the treeless Arctic, pursuing the walrus, which they prize for food. The polar bear, valuable for clothing as well as food. The white whale, vitally important for oil and meat. And the seal, used for clothing, food, and many other purposes. The caribou is the mainstay of the Eskimo of the interior. The Eskimo of the barren lands is a canny hunter. He builds a lookout with moss as mortar for the stones. He sights the caribou through a telescope, which is almost as useful to him as his gun. The country is wide open. The hunter has nothing to hide behind, so he tries to imitate the movements of the caribou. The caribou's value is not limited to food. Parkas, boots, tents, even drumheads are made of caribou skin. The sinews from the back make the strongest thread in the world. The antlers provide material for tools. The tallow gives light, and the soft, warm skins are prized as bedding. Polar bears are usually found alone. They're great swimmers and live almost as much in the sea as they do on land. Their flesh is greatly desired by the Eskimo, as well as the thick, warm fur. Nowadays, the Eskimo hunter shoots the bear and then harpoons it to pull it in. A bear can weigh as much as 900 pounds, and it's always very heavy work getting the animal aboard the boat. The hunters cache some of the meat in a stone cairn. The rest they take home to their families, who haven't tasted the sweet meat of the bear for many moons. The white whale, a member of the porpoise family, is another source of valued food. Formerly, the white whales were driven ashore and harpooned, but today the Eskimo catches the whale in nets. During the brief summer weeks, the Eskimo hunters work very hard. With good hunting grounds, they need to make only slight inroads into the great schools of porpoise and herds of game to keep their slender population going. The white whalers who hunted in Hudson's Bay in the old days taught the Eskimo many tricks about whaling. The whalers also taught him some of the mysteries of machines. Nothing fascinates him more than to watch the wheels go round. Canoes with outboard motors, little whale boats, and small schooners with auxiliary engines are now almost as much at home in Eskimo waters as the kayak. Kucherak, like all Eskimos, is always good-natured and jovial, and takes cheerfully the jokes of his comrades when the motor doesn't work. But he's a good mechanic, and soon the men are hauling the whale ashore. No time is ever wasted during Eskimo summer. Freed of the net, the whale is immediately cut up. Long practice has given the men an easy and confident skill. Each one has a part to play. Slits make convenient handles. In dividing the meat, everyone shares alike. Children, men, women. The division is truly communal. Even the dogs run down to shore for their share. The blubber is put in barrels where the whale oil is tried. Once more, the ulu flashes in the Eskimo woman's hand. The thick, spongy skin called muktuk is as good as candy to Eskimo children. They slice as they eat with a dexterity that's frightening. The ermine in his summer coat has a meal, too. A plentiful supply of whale's blubber means heat and light for the long winter nights. When Kakavina needs oil quickly, she presses out the oil with the ulu and then pours it into the old stone lamp. The moth that serves as a wick is saturated and lit with the trader's match. Matches to the Eskimo are worth many times their weight in gold. Two where only one match was before. The Eskimos get little gasoline stoves from the trading post, but the old whale oil lamp is still their standby. The Mountie means a lot to the natives of the North. On his constant patrols, he does his best to watch over them. The sick and injured are carried sometimes even hundreds of miles over tortuous land, over treacherous sea, by sledge, by canoe, and by boat, to the hospital of the Catholic Fathers, where the services of the government doctor will be found. There are two hospitals in the eastern Arctic, this one at Chesterfield Inlet and that of the Church of England at Pangnirtung. Every summer, the bishops of the Anglican and Catholic churches visit their Arctic posts, holding services for their Eskimo congregations at each post. All the Eskimos learn to read the prayer books, which are printed in syllabic Eskimo. In 1670, when America was very young indeed, the Honorable the Hudson's Bay Company, gentlemen adventurers of England, was already trading in the North. Trading for white fox skins is the main business of the company in the eastern Arctic. Adcock must think the white man very foolish to regard so highly an animal which provides neither food nor clothing. Wooden sticks, valued at 50 cents each, are given for the furs. Adcock is a good trapper and has sticks enough to get ammunition, guns and traps, a toy for young Nanook, tea, sugar, flour and tobacco, and luxuries like woolen and cotton clothing to supplement fur garments. The Eskimos forward all year to the coming of the company's supply, Nascope. When she noses into the harbor, they race her in their swift kayaks. The Nascope brings long-awaited supplies and news from home to northern posts. This is the biggest day of the year for white man and Eskimo alike. In the little community of summer tents where the Eskimo families have gathered to await the annual arrival of the ship, everyone is full of excitement. The women and children watch expectantly from afar until the ship comes near. There will be 2 or 3 busy days, hard work for men, women, and children, unloading cargo during every high tide, supplies for the traders, Mounties, and the missionaries, goods for the Eskimos, lumber needed for new radio and weather stations, and other government posts. The time is soon coming when Eskimo land will be disturbed oftener. Already ships are charting the ocean, geographers mapping new routes, geologists investigating the hidden resources of one of the richest mineral lands in the world. New developments in long-distance flying have already brought thousands of gallons of gasoline into the North Country. The roar of planes on their polar flights will cut across the paths of great caribou herds grazing on the moss-dotted barren lands. Seal and walrus will be frightened away from their basking rocks. The future of the Eskimo rests on communication with the outside world. The Arctic hunter, happy, indomitable, brave beyond words, always a good friend, is becoming a close neighbor in our growing world.